everyone. Thanks for coming to Friday Fuel at NSBAR. Today we have Ian Robinson. He is from the designated managing broker at Baird & Warner in Glenbrook. And he's going to talk about different tips and tricks for productivity, how to be more organized, time management, and different structures and procedures you can put in place to make your business run even smoother. So Ian, thank you for coming. We're glad to have
you. Happy to be here, and hopefully a few more people will drift in from the people that registered, but thank you all for being here on time, which we know is kind of a rare thing in our business. In fact, does anybody know what the #1 complaint annually is about agents from the consumers?
Being late.
Not quite.
Not returning their calls.
Lack of communication from their agent. What's the #2? Always late. That's the #2 thing. So, okay, so everyone has the same amount of time per day. They have 1,440 minutes per day, 525,600 minutes per year. And why are some of us like super productive and other ones just can't seem to make headway? You know, what is it? Organization, planning, systems, what else? Scheduling, anything else?
Using tools can help them be more productive. I mean,
Okay.
tools that are available, I don't know what else to call that.
How about mindset? You know, if you don't, none of the tool structures does not work if you don't have an altered mindset that's allowing you to use those tools effectively. See if you got it fixed. Yeah. So studies show the majority of US employees waste more than 2 hours every day while at work. That's 25% or more of their day. That's the average person. This is one study. Here's another study that was actually a little bit more recent. Study shows you're wasting 21.8 hours a week. That's 3 hours a day, including over the weekends. Right? That's crazy. And here's some little details from in that article. Gallup and Wells Fargo found that 57% of small business owners, which is you guys, right? They work 6 days a week, and over 20% of them work 7 days a week. You guys are probably working 7 days a week, right? At least somewhat. It doesn't have to be that way. You can achieve more while working less. You have to make sure that the less you do matters more, okay? When we evaluated the work habits of business owners and key executives, they discovered time-wasting, low-value to no-value activities were 30% of their work week. For you guys, I bet it's more than that. The business leaders we polled spent 6.8 hours per week on low-value business activities that they could have been paying somebody else to do for them. So time wasters, these are what people surveyed actually admit to. It's probably worse than this if this is what they're admitting to. Surfing the internet for personal reasons while at work, 64% admitted that they do it. Socializing with coworkers, 14% admit it. That seems kind of low, but conducting personal business, 17%. Using Facebook and other social media accounts, 80% of people admit to using that while they're supposed to be working on their job. 60% of internet purchases were made 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, when most of the people are working. Amazon's busiest day for purchases, you'd think it would be like Saturday or Sunday, right? Or in the evening. It's Monday. They're depressed at work, I guess, from having to go back to work, and they're getting on Amazon and buying stuff. 65% of YouTube views are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Does anybody know what the largest search engine is? What's the largest search engine? Google. Who owns YouTube? Google. And what is the second most popular place that people search for things after Google?
Amazon?
YouTube,
okay.
right? 65% of the second most searched thing is searched 9 to 5 during weekdays. The average person wastes 100 or more hours per year searching for papers, post-it notes, text messages, voicemails, emails, passwords, or other information that they have lost track of. A 2022 Harvard study revealed that people spend about 47% of their waking hours thinking about something other than what they're currently doing, right? That typically makes you feel unhappy, ineffective, and unproductive. Who has had that happen? Right? I know I have. I'm sitting there, maybe I'm typing an email or something, and my brain just goes somewhere completely different, and I get done and there's all these typos, and it's not really what I wanted to say. You are not a 9-to-5 employee. Is that a good thing? How's that working for you?
Can be good if you can manage it.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer, Troy. So if the average US worker is doing all that other stuff, what are realtors that are in a 24/7 industry with no boss, no set hours, no constraints on how much time you spend doing anything? What is that doing and how is it impacting your productivity, your income, your client's experience? A lot of times we think just by being constantly available to them, we're making their experience better. We're not, because we're disorganized in our thoughts and in our stuff, and we're not as efficient and good at dealing with them and helping them, right? Serving them. Our home life, our happiness. Everybody knows who Daryl Davis is, the real estate coach and trainer. So he put this out just a couple weeks ago, actually. He said these are the time-sucking behaviors that agents can't quit. And he wrote a whole blog post about this. You can go find that if you want. But these are the 7 time-sucking behaviors. Social media, email, too frequent or unnecessary meetings. You know, some meetings are good, meetings stay connected, but if you have meetings for no good reason, it's not really helpful. Procrastination, multitasking, administrative tasks, and DIY marketing. I've got to do it myself. I can't let go control of anything. I have to be the one doing this. Nobody can do it as good as me. Guess what? They can, and you have better things to do than to spend 3 hours doing a brochure that you could pay somebody that could probably do it in half an hour. So what do your daily schedule and work habits look like? Is it setting you up for success and a balanced life? It's a good quote. The longer you wait to do something you should do now, the greater the odds that you will never actually do it. John Maxwell. So about 2 weeks ago, I saw this post on Facebook that some agent blocked out their name to just avoid embarrassing them. But on Lab Coat Agents, they posted this post. So there's a couple thoughts I have about this. Number one, you know, what do people think realtors do? Put signs up, look at pretty houses all day? And that's what the TV shows make it seem like, right? So that's not entirely wrong. But what do realtors actually do? Market properties, negotiate contracts, research comps, communicate with 10 different parties, provide free therapy, cry in our cars. First of all, is this a good thing to put out to the world? Like that we're crying in our cars and that we provide free therapy to you, like you guys are all nuts? I mean, we know that some of them are, right? But should we really put that out, number one? But number two, is this what we should be doing? This is probably what we are doing, but is this what we should be doing?
No.
Some of it.
Some of it, okay. So we should be negotiating contracts, right? We need to research comps. Do we really need to market properties ourselves? Can't we offload a lot of the marketing? And if it's priced right, and we've done a good job as a broker who is pricing a commodity to help the seller sell it for the best price, which means a quick sale typically, have we done we've done the job then? You don't need to be the one creating the brochures. You don't need to be the one doing all that other stuff. So who likes pie? Who likes pie? I love pie. Cherry pie is my favorite kind of pie that you eat. What's your favorite kind of pie?
French silk.
French silk, okay. My wife would love that.
I make apple pie.
Apple's great.
Anything that ends in airy.
Okay. Cherry? Okay. So I'm gonna tell you that that's my favorite kind of pie to eat, cherry pie. But my favorite kind of pie anywhere is Pie Time, Ninja Selling. Who's done anything with Ninja Selling? A few people who remember as well, it's up there on the screen. But Pie Time is whether it's productive, indirectly productive, or everything else, right? And when we look at productive time, that is time where you're actually earning money with that activity. You are showing property, you are doing a buyer presentation, a listing presentation, you are negotiating a deal, right? That is the productive time, that's where you earn your money, right? I time, indirectly productive time, is anything that helps you get to the productive time. Building relationships with people, marketing to your sphere of influence, your past clients, doing real estate reviews, real estate reports with your clients, networking, meeting new people, doing any of that stuff. Everything else, which would be general marketing, property marketing, minutia, you need to get some of that off your plate, because right now, if you, actually everybody go on the sheet right now that's in front of you and draw a circle. And make a pie and show yourself honestly how much of your day is productive, how much of your day is indirectly productive, and how much is everything else. And the productive is probably going to be fairly small, and the indirectly productive is hopefully not smaller than the productive. And everything else is gonna be the substantial part of the pie, right? So just do that for yourself, just kind of write the circle, make 3 pie pieces to show what's P, what's I, and what's E for you. And then now when you look at that, how do you feel about that? How is that serving you? How is that serving your family? How is that helping you be more efficient and effective even for your clients? Okay. Some people are clearly very into this and some people are not, that's okay. So we must change the way we think about time. By doing so, take back control of our precious minutes, hours, days, months, and years. People do not decide their futures, they decide their habits, and your habits decide your future. Okay, effective time stuff, attention, and you management. A key part of this is you. You cannot manage your time, your stuff, until you manage you and your mindset and your behaviors, right? So when you have a plan to manage your time and stuff, what gets your attention at any time is the amount of time left to grow and enjoy life expands, right? Do what is important, the P and I time, and defer, eliminate, delegate the unimportant, even if it appears to be urgent. You know, we have so much stuff in this business that is somebody else treats like it's urgent and it's a crisis and it's into the world, but we all know that it doesn't need to get done this moment, but yet we tend to drop everything to take care of that, and then it prevents us from doing the proactive stuff that helps our overall business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why do we need to manage your time, stuff, attention? So increase your productivity and profit, have better control over your business, better customer service, generate new business, reduce stress, you'll be happier and healthier, better relationships, your family, friends will be happier and healthier, you're gonna sleep better. Yeah, I talk to so many agents in this business, so I can't sleep, I just can't sleep, I'm so stressed, I can't sleep. And that's often because there's so much on our mind that we haven't taken care of or that we're worried about what's coming the next day. Able to take a real vacation, okay? A vacation does not mean you're sitting on a beach somewhere desperately trying to send contracts for electronic signature, answering calls, replying to texts. That's not a real vacation, right? 7 habits of top performing realtors. Number 1, they create and abide by a schedule and routine. Has everybody heard of time blocking? Time blocking only works if you work the time blocks. If you have it blocked off on your schedule that this is my lead generation, prospecting, client follow-up time for 2 hours every day from this time to this time, if somebody calls and says, I need to have an inspection at that time, we always answer yes. But that inspection, if you say, I can't do that time, I can do 2 hours later, that inspector or a different inspector will be available to do it 2 hours later, and you can still keep your time block. The problem is when we keep bending, there's no actual progress being made, right? Prioritize high value activities. Right now, we tend to prioritize the problems, the urgent, what's coming up, what's going on today, right? So prioritize the high value activities. Spend the most time each day looking for more business instead of working on your business. Okay? Set clear goals, plans, and track progress. You know, Tom Ferry says that if you don't track your progress towards your goals, you might as well not even have the goals, right? You have to keep track of what you're doing to make progress. Whether it's keeping track of your phone calls, your notes, whatever you're doing, whether it's keeping track of your finances, whether it's keeping track of this is on my to-do list, keep it organized. You need to track what you're doing and what you're accomplishing. They are determined to become highly skilled. They are not afraid to fail. Sometimes we end up being what I call a Pop-Tart realtor, where we just pop up every time a client needs something, because we're afraid to fail at really putting ourselves into our business and trying to grow our business. And it's easier in the moment just to kind of try to help somebody else instead of working on our business. They seek out and they accept coaching and accountability in their business. Whether that's paying somebody, whether that's with your managing broker, whether that's having a friend that you could form an accountability group with, something like that. So in our business, we have so many things all the time. What are some of the biggest time wasters that you feel you struggle with on a daily basis? TV, okay? So wanting to escape from the
Relax.
business, yeah, relax, okay? What else? Interruptions, right? We're gonna talk more about that in a minute. Interruptions is a big one. What else? What's a time waster in your day?
Not waste, but time taken, kids, family.
Okay. Kids and family, which it's a shame that we have to think of that as being a time waster,
Yeah.
right?
Other responsibilities.
Yes.
Other responsibilities.
Not having planned the day, I've learned that if I have planned the day I've got ahead of me, I have to take 20 minutes, a half an hour that day and plan it, otherwise it goes out the window.
That's really true, and if you don't plan the day kind of creates the plan for you, right?
Right.
And that's not a good thing.
Right.
Anything else?
Trying to keep up with today at my age, you know, these kids have a tool we don't have. They're so quick on social media and things, and it's so much time. Even my daughters, they do it for you, but they don't teach you. It's the social media and stuff, and I continue to try to hire it out because I'm just not good at it or nor want to do it. But, you know, then they quit on you, and then they, you know, it's constant.
So hiring it out is exactly what I would recommend. You just need to find the right source, the right resource to do that. When you don't know how to do something, and unless you have a passion to learn it because you're very interested in it,
Yeah.
it's better to just hire somebody to do it for you, because you can hire somebody for what, $20, $30 an hour to do that for you. And if you spend the time that you would doing that, if you get one more deal from doing more interaction with clients, networking, meeting people, if you get one more sale, you've way more than paid for all the help you got for the year, right? So I think sometimes we need to focus on what we're already good at and offload some of the other stuff, right? Unless you have a passion and you want to learn it, right? Anything else? That was a really good one, thank you. So organization and productivity. There's a direct correlation between productivity and clutter. If you ever have been in an office with someone that you see that they are super productive at the top of their game, is their office piled with papers and just a cluttered big mess? Typically not, right? If it is, I bet they're also very stressed and upset all the time and kind of having trouble sleeping and all those kind of things, right? Clutter can be classified as electronic, mental, or written. So what do your processing and storage systems look like, and how cluttered is your brain on a daily basis? So one of the things I learned years ago, and I try to do this myself every night, is I have a journal by my bedside, and I do what's called a brain dump. And this is something that a lot of CEOs of big companies and stuff do. But every night before bed, I actually do an altered version of the brain dump. I draw a line down the middle of the page in the journal. On the right side, I write everything that's on my mind. Like, oh, I need to take care of this, I need to help this person, I need to do this, I need to worry about my son's, school thing, this, whatever it is. It all goes down on the right, and then on the left, I write everything I'm feeling grateful for in the moment. Right, and then I write below the grateful things, I write the affirmation that I currently have for myself, and I do that every night before bed. When I go to bed, I shut the journal and I put it away in the drawer in the nightstand, so it's like saying, okay, all this stuff is away for the night, I can now sleep and not think about it, right? And that really helped me get away from that. I've been doing this for years and years now. So try that journaling. That will help you probably sleep better. It'll help you feel like everything is down. You don't have to worry about forgetting something, right? So multitasking and your caveman brain. So speaking as far as scientifically, us sitting here in the room and everybody in the world today, we are really no different from our ancestors. We haven't evolved very much. What we've done is we have the ability to learn and to teach and to grow the knowledge base, right? But essentially, we're the same creatures we were back then. And back then, if somebody had the flight or fight response, it was, there's a tiger coming at you, I need to run or I'm gonna fight, right? Our brain today doesn't really recognize the difference between fight or flight for something that's truly dangerous and something that's just kind of coming up. So we still have the flight or fight response, and we also have a very single-minded response, right? We can only handle one thing at a time. Those of us that try to multitask, what you're really doing is you're switching back and forth rapidly between things and being very inefficient at both or two or three or four things, right? Our brain can only legitimately focus on one thing at a time. So multitasking is very efficient and inefficient, and it wastes a lot of your time. So try to create focus time. We're going to talk about some strategies to help you with that. One of them is the Pomodoro technique. Has anybody heard of this? So one of us has, great. So the Pomodoro technique basically says create an artificial deadline, a timeline where you have to get this task accomplished, forcing you to focus on it and shut out all other interruptions, right? So step one, you pick the task, you set a timer, and right now we have a timer with us all the time, all of us on our phone, right? You set that timer and you just have that timer click down and you gotta get that task done within that time. When you get done and either the time is up or the task is done, you give yourself a little break, then you do another one. If you get 4 of them done, then you get to take up to a half an hour of a break, right? If you try this, you will find that you get stuff done much more quickly. Because especially in our world where you're not 9 to 5, there's no deadline like, hey, your boss says, hey, you have to get this done by the end of business today, right? There's no deadline. You could spend 3 hours doing something that you could have done in a half an hour if you were really focused on it and ignored the interruptions, right? Does that make sense? The 80-20 rule or Pareto principle, hopefully some of you have heard of that. So 80% of effort generates 20% of results. 80% of the effort generates only 20% of the results. The remaining 80% of the results are achieved with only 20% of the effort, but this 20% of the effort is focused. The problem I see in our business is as agents, we have so little on focused time, and it's almost all unfocused, that we're not getting that 80% of the results that we could, and we're settling for working 100% of the time to get 20% of the results that we could have. So by prioritizing high value activities, in other words, what is the highest value when we talked about pie time? What is the highest value activity in there? Is it the P, the I, or the E?
E.
Are we sure?
No, it's the I.
Why is it the I?
Because they talk about being, you've gotta be prospecting, you've gotta be doing all these active things.
Yeah.
Right now, anybody who wants to be successful in sales, you've gotta be relentlessly prospecting. And that should be, I think, the biggest time block you have.
Thank you, Jan, you nailed it, that's exactly right.
Man.
So the problem that we have, and we all have probably experienced this, or we've seen agents experience it, you get very busy with your current clients. When you get done with those current clients, what is next? Nothing, because you didn't do any prospecting while you were so busy with the clients, right? our highest value activity is the indirectly predictive time. In other words, finding more clients. If we don't find the clients, we can't serve the clients, and we can't keep our business off the roller coaster, right? So how productive was your last workday? So I just want you to on there, take some notes, and we're gonna do some math in a minute too. So I know we all love math. So how much time did you spend on appointments, listing buyer appointments, presentations, calls, texts, emails to service current clients' deals, handwritten notes, personal emails, text, social media, prospecting in other ways? How did you spend your last day? Or if you didn't work yesterday, how did you spend your last day working? What did you do? Okay, and now what we're going to do is effectiveness. Are you doing the right activities? And efficiency, are you doing the right activities well? So you have effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness times efficiency equals productivity. So I want you to rate yourself on your effectiveness and your efficiency in your business on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you a 1 at effectiveness and a 5 at efficiency, or are you a 5 at both? I'm sure nobody is a 10 at both. So rate yourself, be honest, on a scale of 1 to 10. It looks like everybody has their numbers now. So now multiply those two numbers by each other. So in other words, if you're a 5 in both, that doesn't mean that you're 50%, that you're a 5 overall. It means you're 25%. Make sense? So multiply those two numbers together. You don't have to share it, but just think for a minute, are you happy with that number? Could that number be better? All right, so has anybody seen, there was a YouTube video many years ago of a college professor standing in front of the class with a big glass jar and rocks and sand and stuff? A few of us have seen that. I actually looked for that one for this class and I couldn't find the original video, but I found this one that's kind of the same idea.
Getting distracted by little things in life is easy. By starting your day with trivial activities, you will not have the time for the things that actually matter. Whether you are a businessman, mother of 4, or a professional, anyone can lose focus of the things that are important in life and fill precious time with meaningless things. In the 80s, Stephen Covey taught the importance of prioritizing the important things in life, which will enable you to do more than you ever thought was possible. His concepts still apply to life today. Even if you think you know all of this already, the visualization metaphor really hits home. This demonstration from the 7 habits of highly effective people will change how you prioritize. If you lack focus and want to do more important things in your day, you have to check out this life-changing video. Though there's never enough time to do everything, there's always enough time to do the most important thing. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, 7 Big Rocks, for more productivity tips. Getting distracted by little things in life is easy. By starting the day with trivial activities, you will not.
So the original video that I was looking for actually had a pitcher of water that was the truly like little minutia things that went in there too. But, you know, which one of these more resembles your business right now, your life and your business? Probably the one with the, where you can't fit all the big rocks in there, right? So what should be in your jar of your life and business? What should your rocks be? Anybody?
Your family.
Your family, thank you. What else?
Self-care.
Self-care, your health. Doctor, agents canceling doctor's appointments to go show a house is just, you gotta take care of yourself first. Getting your workouts in, also self-care. Mental health, right? Giving yourself some downtime, a break. Go for a walk at Botanic Garden, read a book, something you enjoy, right? Okay, what are your business rocks? Yeah, the I time, right? The I time prospecting, right? What are some pebbles in your business?
Social media.
Social media, okay, if you're doing it yourself.
Right.
That could also, some people might consider that the sand or the water too. But it could be, I guess that's a very individual thing, how you feel about it. What else? How about showing clients? Inspections?
Okay, so what work do you think people should farm out? I don't mean,
Honestly,
I mean,
in an ideal world,
Yeah.
anything except the I time and the P time.
So-
Imagine what your business and income and family life would look like if you only did I time and whatever P time resulted from that, and you offloaded the rest of it onto people that you could pay an hourly rate for. If you took half the time you saved and did more stuff for yourself personally and your family, and the other half focused prospecting efforts, what would your income and your happiness and your family life look like?
okay, so let's say you spend, so many hours a day prospecting. I mean, the other thing is you gotta pay for all those people to do this stuff.
Mhm.
So how do you rationalize, I mean, how do you break that up as far as?
We're gonna talk a little bit more about
Okay.
that in a minute, I have a slide where we're gonna actually go over
alright,
that. But it comes down to what is more important for your business, the amount of money you can make if you're doing the right activities, or the amount of money that you either consider a cost or an investment in your business to pay somebody to help you. And what we have to do, remember I talked at the beginning about mindset, right? Mindset being important. You're a business owner. Business owners should not be doing the minutia. They should have people helping the minutia for them so that they can grow the business and overall make more money. If we're focused on, I'm not gonna pay somebody to do this that I could get somebody to do for $20 or $30 for me, now we just lost the opportunity to get a commission check that may have been $3,000, $4,000, $10,000, right, or more. Make sense? We'll get to that more in a minute. So what is the sand in your business?
All the minutes.
Putting a
A
list.
lot of the emails, right?
Right.
A lot of the emails are the sand. That's one of the big ones. I mean, just this morning, when I opened my email, I had gotten like 85 emails overnight just to my business account. It's crazy, right? And I'm sure some of you are probably getting hundreds of emails a day with business stuff, right? The emails are the sand. Very rarely does an email need to be handled right that instant, right? But we need to make sure it's handled. We'll talk more about that. What are some other sand issues?
Entering listings,
Good?
Yeah, but we have to do that because of the law, license law, don't we?
No, you can get an assistant to do that. You have to review what they've done to make sure, because you're responsible for it. Yeah, an unlicensed assistant cannot write a contract without express direction from the agent. This is where, fill in this here, fill in that. An unlicensed assistant cannot do that. An unlicensed assistant cannot deal directly with the consumer. But an unlicensed assistant can input something into the MLS, absolutely.
They have a new thing in the MLS that came out last week, a draft, and that you can send to a client, which I thought was really nice. I mean, before you could do it, but it's just so much details, I now send it to the client, and I'm like, you look at it and approve everything on here too, you know?
Yeah.
So
All
I,
about the house.
yeah, so they had that in the MLS, which I thought was nice.
That's cool.
That's nice, and that's a good point too,
Right.
because another sand or maybe gravel, depending on how you look at it, issue is legal compliance issues. It needs to be right, you need to make sure it's right, but it doesn't necessarily need to be a big rock, it can be done between the big rocks, right? What about water things? What are some water things that we have to deal with?
I just have a quick comment about the email. Do you use the roll up? Have you heard of that?
Tell us a little bit about
It
it.
was at a real estate conference. I think it's called roll up. I'll look it up. But it just says, here's the stuff you wanna go to your inbox. Here's the stuff that you don't wanna unsubscribe from, but that can go in a big, like, one group email with like 20 different things. You know, your marketing or whatever, your coupons and stuff.
So it's like
And then
aggregating the emails.
Here's stuff that you
into something.
unsubscribe to. So
Okay.
you look at your whole list, keep an inbox, roll up or unsubscribe. And now I have like 29 emails a day instead of 129.
That sounds like a good system. I similar to that, I use Gmail for all my personal and work stuff. I like to use rules where you set up a rule where when it comes in your inbox, if it's this, it goes directly to this folder, where if I ever need to find it, I can find it, but it doesn't clog my inbox.
That's cool.
And I also try to keep my inbox under 50 things at all times. And I'm not a big believer in email inbox zero, which you probably heard some people do that, because it is very hard to effectively do that. But about once a year or so, I do get to email inbox zero. I will tell you, when you look at your inbox and there's not a single email in there, it actually makes you feel very happy. It is very, very nice. It does not last, but it's very nice when you get to that moment. So let's talk about some of the water things. So what are the water things that you deal with? Water would be things that are not really important to your business, that are not really important, but we still give our attention to.
Interruptions from family, friends, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And other agents that are,
Maybe staging should be there, it's a lot of time, hire.
Hire somebody,
I
yeah.
do, but I'm still there.
TV, Facebook, internet browsing.
Great, great. Another thing that I think is a water thing is we subscribe to too many things. And the other thing I see agents wasting their time with is your business email should be business. If you have rewards at Nordstrom or some other business, don't use your work email for the rewards. Create just a personal email that all of that stuff goes to, because it clogs your mind and your email inbox, getting all this extra stuff in. Just avoid it coming in your inbox to begin with.
Mike Collins helped me. I just can't believe how many people in my office don't know what NSBAR can give you. Like, they don't even know what forewarn is. Like,
Yeah.
or Mike Collins, who's the most amazing tech guy that we pay for. So he's like working on something for me right now, and he told me, I said, Mike, I put all the retail in a Gmail, but now they want a text for you to get an additional 20. He did a Google Voice. I have a phone number now, so I go into the Gap to get the extra 20% when I should be shopping online on the weekends, not on Monday. And I put in that number and it gives me the text and the coupon, so it's not coming on this separate. It's really
It's not going to
cool.
your
The
phone.
throwaway cell phone.
Okay.
So I put it in my contacts. It's called Google Voice, and I use it now for everywhere I go. That everyone asks your phone number. That I really don't want them to have mine. It's like a Google free number.
Oh, my goodness.
He is so good at that stuff.
Yeah, we have a wonderful tech department here and so few people take advantage of it.
So
But
few.
I'm pretty good at technology, but every once in a while an agent in my office will come to me with something that I just can't figure out, and 9 times out of 10, then they can figure it out. So they're excellent, so definitely thanks for reminding everybody that's watching the recording too.
I do just the opposite. My Google Voice is my business number.
It is.
Oh.
Yes, because I don't want my regular cell out there. Because when you advertise with that phone number, your cell phone number, you get all the junk. And if someone's calling me on my personal number, it's personal.
Got it. Interesting.
So my business number is a Google number.
Well, we are kind of diverting into the like
Right.
spam calls and stuff. I actually have used for over 10 years now an app called Umail, which is a voicemail app. I think I paid $29 a month for it, it's not cheap. but it has, I can, like, if Joy is in my contacts, when she calls me, it'll say, hi Joy, Ian's not available, leave him a message. If it is a spam caller, it will block them from ringing and just send it right into a folder, and it turns everything into a email. So every voicemail you get a text email with an audio attachment in case the text is a little bit garbled, so you can listen to it as well. And you can also go on their website or their app and listen to, delete, read, whatever, as well as it coming to your email. It's great for legal documentation for an agent. If your client leaves you a voicemail and says something, and you save it in the folder later, and they say, well, I never said that. Well, you did say that. So it's a very useful tool. Umail, I highly recommend it. I used it for more than a decade.
Google Voice does that as well. It picks up the voicemail. It emails you that you have a voicemail, and it'll send you the transcription if it can read it.
Does it block spam too?
It does not block spam, but I have a different blocker for that.
Okay,
Is this
Good.
extra money cost?
No, it's free.
okay. So great stuff. Let's move on. Your value per hour. So now we're getting to answering the question from earlier. So how many hours do you typically work each week? So write that down on your paper. How many hours do you typically work each week? Multiply that by 48. Now take your income last year. You're not gonna have to share this with the group, so don't worry about it. But take your income last year, or your approximate income, hopefully you all know that, and divide that by your yearly hours. And this I do want you to share. How do you feel about this number? Is anybody like totally juiced, like, yeah, I'm making so much money? Or we're still doing the math? We're still doing the math. Okay, let's. Okay, I think you're all done now. So who's totally juiced by what you made per hour? Who's really excited? Nobody. Who thinks that it could be better? Everybody? Yeah. So you need to think about what is your per hour value. To me, all of you in this room, because you have a real estate license, your per hour value should be $200 plus per hour. Anything that does not make you $200 an hour by doing it, and you can pay someone else to do it for much less money, like $20 or $30 an hour, have them do it, pay them, focus on finding more business. Finding business is $200 plus per hour work.
How do you come up with the 200? Why not more? Why not?
At least, it's at least.
Minimum.
There are some agents, if you talk to and they know their numbers, they'll say, well, my value per hour is $600, $500, $700. You want it to be at least $200 an hour, even if you're a brand new licensee, think of your time as being worth $200 an hour, because if you don't think of it as being worth $200 an hour now, it's never gonna become worth $200 an hour. Make sense? So start with that mindset and get some help with the cheaper per hour stuff.
But how do you also tell clients, sometimes that they're sort of wasting time with you when you're 200 an hour and like they're calling you or nagging you on certain things that someone's be doing, an assistant or someone in the office and.
So that would be an entire different class, really, on that one subject, but in a nutshell, the way to solve clients taking too much time is in the presentation initially and how you create your value package to them. When I was selling, I do not sell, I'm just a managing broker now, I'm a non-competing managing broker, but back when I used to sell and I would work with buyers, I would tell them, look, my goal is to make this as efficient and easy and stress-free as possible for you. You know, many times buyers are gonna see every single house on the market because you feel like that's what you need to do to make a good decision. I'm gonna help you be educated so you can make good financial decisions, and I'm gonna help you eliminate houses from contention before you ever go by to go look at them. And they go, oh, that's great, because really we should be doing that, right? That's part of our job, is to help them. They don't want to be going through all this stuff, most of them. Now, some people out there, we all know it's more like a hobby to them of looking for a house. And that's a business decision each of you needs to make. Is that somebody I want to take on? Are they truly a client? Or are they more a suspect that maybe someday they'll buy, right? Does that make sense? But I could do a whole class on that someday, but hopefully that helps a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. So Tom Ferry interviewed Jay Abram, and Jay Abram said, if you don't revere yourself and your value, how in heaven can you expect to market your market to? And this kind of goes right along with the question, right? You got to know your value, you got to demonstrate, you got to explain your value, you have to present what your value is. And with the buyers, please don't just put them in a car and start showing them things. Hopefully nobody in this room does that. You need to actually do a presentation. You need to think that buyer deserves the same type of attention you would give a seller. You wouldn't just go to a seller and go, yeah, let's throw your house on the market and get going. You're gonna talk to them about the process, about what you're gonna do, all that kind of stuff, right? So feeling overwhelmed frequently. So being consistently overwhelmed is not gonna allow you to accomplish much because your attention is scattered everywhere. And this is so many people in our business, right? There's tired work versus wired work, okay? If you're wired, if you're energized, if you're focused, you can spend 30 minutes doing something that you could spend the next week not getting done if you're tired and distracted, right? Energized is focused and 80% more effective. What would your business look like if you got 10 more focused wired hours in your work week? And the only way you're gonna do this is put it on your calendar, block it out, schedule your listing appointments, your buyer showings, your inspections, all the stuff around that. And I also recommend you schedule your workouts, your daily workouts. Make sure whether it's a walk or it's going to club, whatever, make sure you're getting that. Because part of being wired and energized and focused is feeling good. If you're proactive, you focus on preparing. If you're reactive, you end up focusing on repairing. And that could be repairing like a client relationship, those type of things. If you're proactive, let's say if you do a really great job demonstrating to a seller where they need to price for the market, you're gonna sell it quickly, the seller's gonna be thrilled, and everybody's gonna be happy. If you don't prepare adequately and you don't evaluate the market adequately and you just kind of go with what the seller wants, you now created a nightmare situation for you and the seller where they're not gonna be happy, they're probably gonna be pestering and hounding you, right? So being proactive, preparing for things adequately, and working in your business, just like with that seller, preparing your business for success. So are you reactive or proactive? So in reactive mode, you feel like you have no control of your time, right? It feels good short term. When somebody sends you an email or calls you and says, I need this disclosure sent right away, you get like an endorphin rush when you send that disclosure, like, I did something, right? Feels good. But long term, you just stop doing what you were in the middle of to take care of that thing, right? Proactive mode, everything is scheduled and you are in control. My goal for you is to get so 80% of your day is proactive, where you've scheduled it, you know what you're going to do. Right now, I would bet that it's somewhere 80 to 100% reactive, what our days are, right? If you can get to 80% of your day being proactive, there's always going to be some reactive stuff in our business. But if you can get the fight to get that 80%, you are going to increase your income. Your clients are going to have a better experience because you're going to be organized, structured, and better able to help them efficiently, right? It's going to be better for everybody, and your families at home will be happy. If you don't schedule things, you're in 100% reactive mode, and that is miserable territory, and that is not going to do much for your income or your family. So has anybody read the book, The One Thing? This is a great book. It's not real estate specific, but it is by Gary Keller and Jay Papazan, who are real estate people. But it's a great book. I recommend everybody goes and buys The One Thing. Another book I recommend, by the way, is Ninja Selling. And you can get that at ninjaselling.com. I also was with my wife at the Barnes & Noble in Vernon Hills. Barnes & Noble had it on the shelves there too. So Ninja Selling by Gary Kendall is another great book. But in the book, The One Thing, they have this chart, which is perfect for us to look at today. So it's about interrupted workflow. So when you are actually doing something, you're trying to focus on it, something else comes up, it takes you time to switch mental gears to take care of that. You take care of it, and then it takes you time to reorient, handle the distraction, you switch, you reorient, and then you get back to what you're originally doing. This is very inefficient, and when you are trying to multitask, like, hey, I'm watching this video and I'm doing this work. You know, I'm reading these emails, but I also gotta get this done at the same time. What you're doing is switching back and forth between these things and wasting a lot of time in fuzzy focus rather than being focused. Focus on one thing at a time.
Hey,
So-
Ian, I just have one quick
Yeah.
comment. So sometimes when I'm doing like a Pomodoro thing or whatever, I'll just put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Mhm.
Or, God forbid, yesterday I turned it off for like 2 hours in the evening. And I was like, this is nice. But Dr. Phil says you teach people how to treat you.
Mhm.
And if you don't have those boundaries with your clients, like I'm not gonna answer your text at 11 p.m. Too
Mhm.
bad. You know, then you end up feeling really stressed and you're out of control.
Yep, that is perfect, exactly what we need to do. And how many times has somebody gone in your voicemail, or maybe they sent you an email and you didn't respond within 10 minutes, so then they left you a voicemail and you didn't respond to that like immediately, so then they text you. Have you ever had this, right?
That's a realtor.
And by the time, often, yes, isn't it? And by the time you get back to them, what do they say when you get back to them?
What took so long?
It wasn't that important.
Or, I figured it out.
Yeah.
I found it, I figured it out.
They don't text you that though.
So often.
And I didn't know that I shouldn't say that, the young ones are not listening to our voicemail. I learned it from my own children, and I now know it with young agents. And I'll be like, okay, left them voicemail, they just call you back.
Yeah, that's true.
They do not listen to voicemail, they
Yeah.
told me that.
They also don't necessarily listen or leave a voicemail either. They,
Yes.
they expect you to see the missed call and call them back, or they just would
They just
prefer to do
text.
text. And I have, in my office, I have some younger agents that I have to kind of coach them and train them because they tend to send me social media messages. Like they're just thinking of something and they send a message through a social media platform. I don't check those because checking social media throughout the day is inefficient.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I have to train them.
Yeah.
I need an email, I need a text message. Don't send that unless you don't expect me to reply in the next 8 hours.
But these young first-time buyers, I've had to learn how to work their way a little bit and my way, not to look older. I kind of have to they won't even have a conversation really. It's all text
Okay.
messages, which is confusing. It's
Or these WhatsApp, phone voice messages.
Oh.
Right.
You ever get that where they'll
Yeah.
speak into WhatsApp and then they'll send you a
voice
message?
memo.
Right.
Yeah.
by text, right?
Yeah.
I actually like texting, even though I'm 50, I like texting because they can't waste your time blabbing for 30 minutes and
That's how
you
they
have a
feel.
written record of what they said.
Yes, that
And
is all
sometimes
true.
agents will try to bully you when they call you during negotiations. And I'm like, nope, not gonna let that happen.
There are certain agents that only talk on the phone about everything, and I normally stop because it makes me nervous and say, I'm gonna follow up on our conversation by a text. And literally, they're like, Colleen, call me. They do not leave a message, they only wanna talk to you.
And that's another reason that I like the Umail app, or you could use the Google that Paul was mentioning. Because it makes it into a written thing, and with someone like that, what I would do, like say Colleen, if you were that agent that acts that way and you called me, I would let you go to my voicemail. I would use an app called Slide Dial, which makes it so that their phone doesn't ring. I would leave them a voicemail and say, hey, I've got so much going on today, please leave me a voicemail with what you want, and that way it gets changed into text and I have what they said in text, right? That way you have the written documentation so that later when they say, well, no, that's not what we agreed to, oh yeah, it is, because I have it right here, here's the transcript of what you said. So that's another reason.
But isn't that sort of like you're recording them? Shouldn't, do you have to let them know that the conversation's
No,
being
because it's
recorded?
just transcribing the voicemail.
They already got.
Oh, that's a voicemail, okay.
Yeah, they're leaving a voicemail, which that you can't record them, you know, just when they call you
Right,
without
right.
notifying them. It would be very, I believe, unethical and, you know, not
Right.
very nice. But you certainly can get the voicemail, and there's no difference between transcribing it or record voicemail, and the Umail app saves it both ways, and I think you said Google does too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Does
message
the
I
slide
got
out cost something?
from Lazar.
Not the last time I used it, I haven't used it in a few years, but before it was
And
not.
the
If you
voicemail's
wanted to
there,
do a
the
slide
transcript's
dial
there.
where you can call a whole bunch of people at once and leave like a market message, then there was a fee for that, but I wouldn't do that anyways,
Yeah.
yeah. I wouldn't recommend it.
But I like talking to the agents a little bit too, and, you know, because, you know, I don't like this texting back and forth, you can't, you know,
Read between the lines.
yeah, read what's going on, and, you know, some of the text is great, because you could say 1 minute thing, you know, it's 20 minutes of conversation with someone, but sometimes you could also have a conversation for 2 minutes and clear up a lot of.
Absolutely, and what Colleen was saying was specific people
Right, right.
that you know that you've worked with before. I think what you're saying is that you know that they say things and then
Right,
later
right,
on
then
they say they didn't say
Say
that,
that, right.
that kind of stuff. That's more what I think you were talking
Okay.
about, right? Yeah, but in general, with people we know we can work well with together, you know, we wanna be partners, we wanna try and, you know, have that conversation. I'm not recommending you slide dial every single agent, just in that situation to try and get them to leave what they're saying so that there's documentation of it, you know. And even if it was a regular voicemail, that's still documentation too. Okay, anything else on that before we move on? Alright, what can you do? So start each day with gratitudes and affirmations. I actually have fallen into ending each day with it, but starting the day is a great way to start your day. Shut down your interruptions. Turn the ringer off on the phone. I have all social media things, I have the alerts turned off. I do not let them alert me. I check my social media intentionally a few times each day. I do not let them alert me.
Yeah.
Right? It's just too much. Make a realistic daily task list at the end of each workday. People that are most effective have their to-do list for the day done at the end of the previous day. Do not rely on your memory for anything. Get it out of your head. Stop the urgent taking priority over the important, right? Get outside of your comfort zone. This is a big one. We're creatures of wanting to be comfortable, right? To be truly great at anything, doesn't matter real estate or anything in life, you cannot stay comfortable. You have to push yourself past what you're normally willing to do. Whether that's, I don't like making calls, I don't wanna be on video, and believe me, if anybody's in this room and you're not on video now, you're not gonna be in business down the road. You gotta get yourself on video. The consumers are making their decision by watching videos of agents now. They prefer their information in a video than reading something. So you gotta have some video content out there. Get up earlier. Stop trying to multitask, we talked enough about that. Delegate things, we've talked about that too. Organize your stuff, we're gonna talk more about that in a minute. Leave voicemail, text, and email for non-productive conversations, right? If it's just some simple conversation that you know with that particular person, it's gonna turn into half an hour, kind of like Joy said, and you can send them a message in another way, it's short and get it done, just do that.
You know, also, the same thing, people could send you 20 text messages, and they go on and on, like they like texting all for 20 minutes, and it's a waste. You're getting carpal tunnel syndrome from them.
Yes, and some people do voice transcription to text, and they send a text message that's just them talking for 10 minutes, right? And it takes you 20 minutes to read what they have in there, and there's all sorts of mistranscriptions and all sorts of stuff. It can be very annoying. Set a timer to complete your tasks.
Hey Ian, I wanna give a plug for Toastmasters.
Okay,
Getting
go
out
ahead.
of your comfort zone. It's on Tuesdays right here in this room. Or somewhere around here.
Joy has interesting stories about
Excellent.
toilet paper.
I do.
She does.
Okay, when we're done with the class,
Very
you can
scary,
share.
but it's real.
So take a permanent vacation. So what I mean by this is, you know, how many people have you have a vacation plan, maybe you're going to say Hawaii, and you have to be on the plane at a certain time. You have this laundry list of things you need to get done, both work and personal, before you can get on that plane. Do they always get done before you can get on the plane?
No.
No?
They kinda have to.
They kind of have to.
pack.
Okay, if they didn't, they're not things that really needed to get done, right? But most of us would answer yes, you get that stuff done. So there's kind of this mindset of, I have this deadline, I need to get it done. In our real estate business, there's not a lot of deadlines out there, right? There's not a lot of you have to get it done, but as soon as there is one, I see agents all of a sudden become super productive. And they say, I got so much done the last day because I'm going on the plane, I should go on vacation all the time. And I even see agents say, I'm going on vacation and now I have all these clients popping up because they got their marketing that they've been delaying done because they needed to get it done before they got on the plane, and they did this rush of marketing and now they got clients contacting them, right? Because they went on vacation. So maybe you need to create deadlines in your business just artificially, arbitrarily. If I get all this done by X time, I'm gonna take my spouse, significant other, friend, whatever, out to a great dinner at our favorite restaurant, right? But if I don't get it done, I don't get to do that. Set deadlines and like a little mini vacation reward for yourself. So now we're gonna start talking about a system that I really have subscribed to for about 15 years now. So there's 4 critical choices to decide how to take action on something when it comes into you. One is the context, the time available, the energy available, and the priority. So those are the 4 things to consider: context, time, energy, and priority. There are 3 types of activity that you do. You're doing something that is predefined, you're doing work as it shows up, or you're defining your work. Which do you think of these 3 is the most important? Defining, yeah. What is it, right? So people are actually more comfortable dealing with surprises and crises than they are taking control, processing, organizing, and reviewing. So again, the surprises, the crisis, it makes us feel good. It's that flight or fight response, right? The rest of it is the farming kind of mentality of, I'm planting seeds, I'm doing what I need to so I have a crop later, right? So many projects seem overwhelming and we need to transform the stuff we're organizing into actionable tasks. So one of the things that I frequently hear agents say is, I need to revamp my listing presentation. They never get to it. They never get around to it. But what if you said, I'm gonna redo my real estate biography, I'm gonna redo my client testimonial page. You create subsections of that are actually doable things. The whole presentation is too big of a thing to revamp, but doing one thing at a time from a checklist of these are the things in the priority, that's doable, right?
Jan, do you suggest the previous slide, do it that way? The previous slide.
This one?
On the steering wheel.
If you have everything in your head and you're not even using Post-it notes, then that's an improvement, yes, yes. Most people are so embedded in day-to-day activities that they cannot focus on the larger picture. So this system is a bottom-up approach. So it's starting with the minutiae and kind of building yourself up. So set aside time weekly to manage and organize your information. I typically do this on Fridays. I go through all of the emails, all the paper that came in, I organize stuff, I create lists for the next week. I even created for myself, I have Ian's weekly checklist and daily checklist. And on Friday, I print out a new checklist for the next week and I go through, and anything I didn't get accomplished the last week goes on there. There are some set things that are always on there that are pre-typed in. And then there's lines, and I have a little check mark box by every item. And then I have a list for the following week, for the days of the week, the things I need to accomplish that day of the week so that I can try and stay on track.
Do you do that in just a Word document or?
A Google Doc for me, but you can do it in Word, certainly, yeah. Always organize your desk at the end of the day so that at least 80% of your desktop is visible. So if you have a physical desk either at home or at the office, make sure you can see the desk at the end of the day. Sort your email inbox daily. Try to keep it less than 50 emails. I hazard a guess that if I sat with many of you in this room that you might have thousands of things in your inbox. Okay, your inbox should be the things that are coming in, not the file cabinet that is storing long-term, right? Eliminate anything from view that you do not use often. If you don't use it often, just put it in a drawer, put it in a cabinet, put it in a closet, get it out of your view. Use color-coded file folders if you're still using paper. Handle each piece of information once. When you get it, take action, file it, toss it, shred it, or delete it. And a lot of stuff should be deleted or tossed, right? Learn how to say no in order to stay afloat. No is not a 4-letter word. It's okay to say no. You know, you could try softening and say, Mr. Buyer, unfortunately, I have another appointment at that time. They don't need to know that the appointment is because it's your workout time or your eye time. I have another appointment at that time, but I can do it at this time or this time, right? A reasonable person is gonna be fine with that. In fact, if you are not available sometimes, your value will be perceived as higher. If you're always available, they'll perceive you as always there for them and kind of like a doormat, right?
I think it's sort of, can I just say something?
Absolutely.
I think it's sort of impossible in this market with buyers though. It used to be that you would take them out a couple weekends and you'd show them 9 properties. Now I'm going out because a new property comes out and you have to be there, so I'm going out for one here, one here, one here. Then there's multiple bids and then we're losing, we're starting all over, trying, but it really is different. And some of them are weekends, some of them are Wednesdays.
It is different and it is a very challenging situation right now. But again, what is more important, the I time or the P time for the long-term health of your business? And that house, that buyer, if legitimately you're not gonna be able to have them at least be in the game for making an offer by delaying their appointment for 2 hours to see it, because you have something else. I mean, would you cancel a listing appointment because that buyer needs to see the house? No, you'd schedule around it. Why isn't your business development, your I time, or frankly your workout or something planned with your family, why isn't that at least as important as a listing appointment? It should be, right? You're in this business to build a great life for you and your family, not to destroy it because you're taking care of clients over the other stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, 2 people were supposed to come with me today and they're like, I'm just so busy I have to get caught up. You see?
Yep. And that's just like some of you weren't here yet. About 17 minutes before the class started, I got a text from an agent saying, Ian, what is your class at NSBAR about this morning? I've been so busy and disconnected, I haven't been paying attention, right? Literally for this class, I said, well, you need to be here, but they're not here. Okay. So the bottom-up approach continued. Dedicate time on your calendar for project level thinking and review. For me, even when I was an agent, I always found Friday was kind of the best day to do this. So as well as organizing my to-do list and everything for the next week, I would go over my business plan for the year, what my goals were. I would go over any projects I had, like revamping my listing presentation, or revamping my personal brand, or redoing my bio, whatever it was, I would go over that and I would try and find chunks that I could accomplish in the next week and put them on my schedule. The weekly review, which is also on Friday, is to collect or clear your mind by collecting, processing, reviewing to get to the point where you can say, I honestly know everything I am not doing, but I could be doing if I decided to. Does that make sense? Those that do not have a built-in time for regrouping at that level are typically very stressed individuals, have trouble sleeping, can't keep track of things, aren't very effective.
What do you mean by regrouping?
That would be the project level thinking, clearing your mind, creating your schedule for the next week, creating your schedule for the next day, each day. When you're not doing those things, it is very hard to not be stressed and worried. So every Friday afternoon, loose papers and emails, get your inbox down to 10 emails or less once a week. That's what I strive for. Not 0, but try and get to 10 less. Notes from meetings, conversations, file away or trash. Review previous week's calendars and upcoming calendars. Empty your head. So write down anything you're thinking of that's not already down on paper. Review any projects you have and the breakdown of them. Be creative and courageous. Are there any new creative, harebrained, risk-taking ideas that you could implement in your business that maybe you're scared of? But you gotta get out of your comfort zone too. So most of us have major problems with our collection process because we collect things but we do not decide what to do. This is the 2,000 emails in our inbox. This is the piles of papers on our desk and in our drawers and everywhere. And just panic like, I can't get rid of this because maybe someday I might possibly need this, right? Keeping things that should be deleted or thrown out. Making good initial decisions in the moment, but then losing focus on later on. So I need to do this, it's important, but it's not urgent, I'm gonna set this aside, but then you lose focus and you never get back to it. Having good systems in place, but no consistent review process to keep them functional. If any of these points are weak, it's difficult to prioritize the actions at any given moment. Don't use these stacks of paper, your email inbox, anything like that as your to-do list. That's what a lot of us do. That's our to-do list, right? So daily process your inboxes, trash what you don't need. Either do it now or leave it, or don't leave it for later. Complete any item that takes 2 minutes or less. So one thing I've learned in this industry is a lot of those emails are really quick. If you leave the really quick ones in your inbox, pretty soon they're not getting taken care of and you have a bunch of really quick ones. If it takes you 2 minutes or less to reply, when you get it and you first see it, I'm not saying check constantly, but when you look at your email, if it's there, just do it, then get it out. If you do that and you delete the things that need to get deleted right away, your inbox right away will start to clear up.
I have a question, how often a day, how many times a day do you think we should check our email?
I would check your email not during your blocked eye time, but the rest, I would check it before that, I would check it after that blocked eye time, and then I would check it before or after any other blocked activities you have during the day. Don't just make it your thing you're staring at all day, because that's not gonna help you, right? Delegate items to others. If it's something that you could pay somebody or something your office staff can do, or if you're co-listing something the other person could do, or if it's something the seller should really be doing, delegate it to that appropriate person, okay? Sort your action items for anything that needs to be done. An action item is something that needs to be done but takes more than 2 minutes. If it's a 2-minute item, just do it, get it done. Identify any action items associated with projects that you need to work on now. So how do you keep the stuff under control but not forgotten? You need to capture them in containers that hold the stuff so you know it's there, you don't have to worry about it. Every item must be in a container, either paper or electronic. So a file folder, either an electronic, an email file folder, or a paper file folder. That's how I keep my inbox clear, is a lot of the stuff gets filed away.
What do you recommend after something closes, you grab all the emails?
No, as you're doing the transaction, as soon as you say you're working with Bob and Mary Smith on 123 Main Street, you can make a folder that's either Bob and Mary Smith or 123 Main Street. Well, I would put it under a top folder that's clients. Then under that, their folder, everything at all involved with them, unless it's something that takes you 2 minutes or less, go in that folder.
What about when it closes? Cause I do that.
When it closes, just leave that folder so you have that saved.
And then at the end of the year, do you do something with it?
No.
No?
I would retain them for at least 7 years.
And so does it take up space? I don't think so in a folder.
It does take up space. So depending upon how much mail space you have, this isn't a class for that, but I've done another class that's about how to store your stuff. There is, if you connect Microsoft Outlook to whatever email system you have, you can create, from Microsoft Outlook, you can create an archive file of all emails before a certain date if you run out of room or you're running out of room in your email system. Okay, use as few containers as you can get away with, but as many as you need. Don't make it overcomplicated, but every client should have their own folder. Schedule a time to review and empty the containers. So the critical question when something comes in is, what is the next step for this item? So once you have determined the next step, do it if it's less than 2, delegate, defer it. And now we're going to show you this chart. This is from a book called Getting Things Done, which I've read several times, and I've also attended a 2-day seminar for them. Probably 15 years ago I did that. It was a fabulous system. So when something comes in, you have to decide, what is it? Is this something that I can take action on? If the answer is no, it's either trash, incubate as a someday maybe possibility thing, or a reference, save it long term. If it is actionable, is it A quick action is at a project level thing. If it's a project, you put it into a project folder. So you can create paper folders, you can create email folders to go along with this, and that's how I organize it. And then if it is something that is actionable, that is not a project, you either do it, you delegate, or you defer it till later. One of the great tools with most email systems now, and there's also a thing called Boomerang that you can use if your email system doesn't have it, but you can set a timer to resend you that email at a later date. I use that a lot. You know, so I don't need to worry about this now that I need to worry about next week, so I may have it come to me Friday morning, so I make sure I get it done on Friday for next week. So on your calendar, you need to put time-specific actions, day-specific actions, and day-specific information. Like, I need to call Mike about his CMA at 2 o'clock on Friday, so you don't forget. Email, create 2 folders. You could do more than this, but I recommend these 2. And putting the @ sign at the beginning actually trumps the whole alphabet, so it makes it at the top of the list. So your action and your waiting for folders will be at the top right under your inbox. So action is things you need to do that take more than 2 minutes. Waiting for are things that, say I've sent something to Paul and Paul needs to take care of it, but I don't want to forget about it and I don't want to forget to follow up and make sure he did it. I'm going to put it in waiting for until he does it. Once he does it, I'll file it in the permanent folder for it. Whatever else you need, but don't put @ in front unless it's something you need at the top. The other folder that I personally use is I have a someday maybe folder with the @ So if it's something I think that's a great idea, I'm probably never going to get to it, but maybe I'll put it in that folder, okay? Keep your email inbox empty by using the above tricks and reference folders for each project or client. Don't let your inbox become your to-do list. Use the same filing system for paper. So get out of overwhelm. Don't answer the phone every time it rings. It's only real estate. We're not brain surgeons. Somebody's not going to die because we didn't reply to a call right away. Don't reply instantly to text or check your email constantly. Say no to someone else to say yes to you. Add hours of operation to your voicemail briefing. When I was selling, my voicemail said, "Hello, you've reached Ian Robinson. My hours of business are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., except Thursdays, which I generally take off. Saturday and Sunday, my hours are by appointment. If you call me outside of my business hours, I will return your call the next day." Guess who had a problem with that?
No one.
Other agents. Yeah, the consumers were like, yeah, that's fine. If we set expectations with the consumers, they're perfectly happy. If you do call them back outside the hours that you say that you're open for business, or you show them a property, they're like, oh my God, she gave me extra attention, right? It then turns it into above and beyond instead of just expected. The people that have problems with it are agents like, what do you mean? I need the disclosures for such and such property, and you're not available till the next business day?
Oh, jealousy.
It's okay. It's okay.
Panicking for
Right.
Panicking, yeah.
Once you devise your system for time management, you have to devote the energy and the time to do it, which I recommend Friday as your day to try and stay organized and be organized for the next week. So focus your attention, being productive, not just busy. It's very easy to be busy. In this business, it's very hard to be productive, right? Lead generation, lead follow-up, production, not perfection. Staying positive, keeping the mindset. You guys are in the drive. You have a choice every day. You're in the driver's seat. Having personal time. Spend time with people that you can learn from, people you can have fun with, people you can profit with, and people that you can either teach or they can mentor, share, or grow with. Delegate to your marketing assistant, contract care manager, licensed assistant. Find those people if you don't have them. Stop doing the $20 to $30 an hour work and focus your efforts on the $200 per hour work, the time, the indirectly productive and productive. So some of my favorite resources, the Google Mail app. Is anybody using Google, or the email app, is anybody using Google Keep? Does anybody know what Google Keep is?
No.
Google Keep is one of my favorite things. Who likes Post-it notes? I love Post-it notes. Google Keep is Google Post-it notes. There's a Google Keep app, and on the browser in your Google Tools, if you scroll down, you'll find Google Keep. It's Post-it notes. You can choose what color each one is. You can pin some of them to the top. You can use it to keep all this miscellaneous information that we tend to scrawl on pieces of paper or put in various different places. In our business, Google Keep is a fabulous resource and tool. Todoist app and Gmail add-on. This is a great app for productivity. It helps you make sure that you're not forgetting about your things, and you can also break down projects into smaller steps beneath them. Google Drive and Dropbox are both wonderful tools. I actually use both of them. If you do the paid Dropbox account, you can get, I think it's now up to 2 terabytes for their standard annual fee, which is double what most computers have on them. So it's a lot of storage space. Calendly appointment scheduling is a great thing. I don't personally use it, but many agents in my office use it and it works very well. I recommend Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity by David Allen. You could buy it for $13.95 on Amazon. So The Art of Getting Things Done by David Allen, Ninja Selling by Larry Kendall, and The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. 3 books I highly recommend that everybody reads. According to a 2019 survey, the average office worker received 121 emails a day. McKinsey reported in 2012, so it's much worse now, that professionals spent 28% of their time managing emails, and that's 14 weeks of their life. With us, and the amount of time that's gone past in this business, you're probably looking at 20 weeks of your life managing emails, right? So how can we get better with emails? Only keep messages requiring immediate action in your inbox. Change inbox to compact mode. That's in Google. Most of us are using Google probably. Other email systems have different things, but try to make it so that you can see as many messages at once. And use multiple inboxes. The drafts are starred. Snooze messages or create calendar or to-do list events. Create filters to filter the messages. Create folders, subfolders. Use multiple signatures. Most email systems allow you to have multiple signatures for different purposes. Change the message subjects when replying and forwarding if the topic has changed. It's very inefficient to reply. Somebody sends something about next Friday and you reply about, well, Monday. Send a new email because later, either of you looking for that email, you're not gonna be able to find it because the subject isn't right. Make subject lines clear and always have a subject so you can find it easily later. Create templates for frequently sent messages. Does anybody use templates in your email? How many people use Google Mail, Gmail? About half of us. Gmail, you can have up to 50 pre-made templates for frequently sent things that all you do is go, I want to use this template, it pops it in there, you can just edit it however you need to for that person. You just saved yourself a ton of time. If you want to use templates, you have to go into your settings, advanced settings, or all settings, then advanced settings, and then turn the templates on. And set aside time blocks on your calendar for returning emails. Turn off email notifications, just like with social media, don't have it pop up on your phone every time an email comes in, right? Delete is your best friend. Folders are your second best friend. Don't mingle work emails with personal, we talked about that before. Use the vacation autoresponder when you're going on vacation. Seriously, take a real vacation. Get someone else in your office or company to back you up. Give them your client files. Don't be scared to tell your clients you're going on vacation. Tell them, I'm going on vacation, this is my backup. If you tell them, they will be fine with it. They'll be happy for you. Take a real vacation. Shut down, right?